In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic edition of Defend Your Movie. I am one of your hosts, the lovable, affable, gaffable Andrew Fury. Sitting with me, of course, as always, you can say all the same superlatives for him, is my pal, Sean Donnelly.
Hello there, my friend. You should put that on your business card. The lovable, affable, gaffable.
I don't even know if gaffable is a word.
Gaffable, I think, is like a lighting thing. I think like you're a gaffer.
Sure. It just worked in the rhyme
So it works
scheme.
into the movies, but not into like the,
Yeah.
the friendliness aspect.
Last week, we participated in March Movie Madness Round 1.
We did, and
the
we
Eastern-
talked about how emotional it was, and
Very
how-
tough bracket.
It's very tough bracket, and then what we got to, we did the
We did the Western side,
Conference.
the Western region, the Western
And
Conference. And we-
today we're in a little bit we're gonna get to the Eastern.
Yeah, we'll reveal
Conference
the whole
of
Eastern side, and
then-
we'll reveal the Final Four and our Final Two, the championship game, and then
then your
our
champion.
respective winners.
Yes, absolutely. But you said you had a couple things you wanted to get to.
Well, yes, I did a fun thing yesterday before we get to the movies we watched. This just, do you ever just go down like a wormhole? I don't know why this popped in my head. I
on
was like,
YouTube or something.
yeah, anything on the internet. I was just like, I knew I was coming here today, and I was just like, whose birthday is it, celebrity movie star wise today?
Yeah.
And then I saw the whole day. Really good day.
Really?
Yeah, today, to pull back the curtain, we're recording this on March 26th, a few days before this gets released.
Well, the most famous person, Todd Barry's birthday today.
Oh, yes, of course. It's according to him.
But who do you have? Who?
In terms of who I like, I'll just start from the oldest. This one is why I kept going on the list. I almost stopped right here. Sterling Hayden. You might know him as Captain McCluskey from Goodfellas.
Oh!
How
You
was
mean
the
from
Italian
Godfather?
food in this restaurant?
McCluskey's
Yes.
from, yeah.
McCluskey.
He's a good kid. I frisked him. That's
Getting too old for my job.
I frisked 1,000 young punks on my day. That's what he says. I frisked. That's a weird line in that movie. I
Yeah.
frisked 1,000 young
He's got
punks.
a lot of weird, great lines, though. How's the Italian food in this restaurant?
Well,
Try the veal, it's the best in the city.
Well,
I'll have it.
considering you're with like hardcore
Right.
Italians, it's probably pretty good.
That was so great.
These guys are off the boat, and you're just like, yeah, this is pretty good food. And that's a very. That might have been like a jab at Irish people.
Yeah,
basically.
it might have been.
That's
It
what
might have
was.
been. Strother Martin. Who
Strother Martin.
You know him as, what we got here is a failure to communicate.
one of your faves.
One of my top two is Cool Hand Luke. Yes.
Oh
so
my
that
God.
one caught my attention
Wow,
too.
a lot of like great characters with great lines.
It goes on.
Oh my God.
Dr.
Is
Spock
this just-
himself. Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy, really?
Yes.
Wow. Do you think he stopped
Cosmic
becoming?
ballet goes on.
Did he stop being a character actor once he was Dr. Spock?
I think he kind of stopped being an actor. He didn't do much acting. He wrote.
He just did that, right? He just did
Yeah,
Dr. Spock on the
to
show.
my knowledge.
And in the movies, in a couple of those movies, right? Wasn't he in... When they did
I
movies
think
in
he
the
did a lot
80s,
of
he was
voice
in a
work
couple of them.
and did a lot of science fiction writing. And
Yeah.
I think he directed a lot too.
Those guys,
So-
anybody involved in that show cashed in
Yeah,
the 80s.
I was never a Star Trek guy, so my
Me neither.
knowledge is not that extensive.
But I know he was
Extensive.
in one of the later movies. Him and Spock. Him and Kirk were.
One of my comedic idols, Martin Short.
It's Martin Short.
Martin Short. I'm telling you, I kept going on this list, going, Jesus Christ,
Dude, Martin Short is one of my favorites of all time.
maybe the funniest person ever.
Maybe the funniest person ever, and also you find out so much about him that he insane preparer when he
Yeah.
goes and does panel on a show, he comes with like 15 stories and he tells them which ones you want. And they
That's
go,
great.
yeah, just that one will be fine. But every time he comes over prepared. That's why he's so good. He's like a showman.
Yeah. Yes.
Martin Short.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he is like an old school, like if he was born back in the late 1800s, he would have been like a vaudeville star.
100%.
Yeah. He's so goddamn funny. One of my favorite movies of all time that people either get creeped out by or they love, Clifford.
Oh, yeah,
Clifford-
totally.
Clifford
I saw it in
is-
the theater. Loved it.
Yeah, did you see it in the
I
theater?
saw it in the theater.
Because there was a weird, there's a weird thing with Clifford. It was one of the last movies that Orion Pictures did before they went out of business. So my sister remembers Martin Short going and doing press for it on like Tonight Show. And all that.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, I want to see that," and then it never came out. And then when whoever bought the stock of all the leftover stock of Orion Pictures, they put it out under the new company.
Right.
So that's why it was put out later. So it was kind of a weird 2-year.
Yeah.
That's why when it came out, there wasn't a big hoopla at all. And he played a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah, it was-
and Richard Kind is in it as his dad. And
It's phenomenal.
might be the best thing that what's his name did. Charles. Who's the
Grodin?
uncle? Grodin. Yeah. Might be the best thing he's done. One of the best scenes ever is when
Beethoven?
he's yelling at him at the table. When he's yelling at him at the table.
I don't remember
Oh
it that
my
well.
God, it's one of the best things ever. He goes, "Look like a human boy for 1 second," and he's doing this face like, "Huh? Oh?"
best
And he's
line.
like, "Don't get smart with me."
The best line Charles Grodin's ever delivered is in Beethoven. When they go, "What should we call him?" He goes, "You could call him Ding Dong Head for all that matters. He wouldn't know the difference."
I think that's supposedly how Charles
Ding
Grodin
dong.
is. I think he's amazing at being a curmudgeon. I think to this day he's still alive, right?
He's still alive.
I think he's probably just yelling to people to get off his lawn at this point.
Yeah, I got two more. Girl I briefly dated, Keira Knightley, but we don't have to talk about her.
Wait,
And-
hold on. Is that true?
Of course not.
When you said that, I believed it. I was like, holy shit.
I'm sorry I'm coughing up so much today. I got a touch of the bronch. And but that's true. Keira Knightley, who I love in Domino, is actually a pretty fun movie.
Domino I never
and
saw.
She's badass and she's beautiful.
She's
And that just English accent kills
she's
me.
tiny.
Yeah.
She's great. She's good.
And one of our favorites, Michael Imperioli, Christopher.
Oh, Michael Imperioli.
Christopher.
I was talking with Dan St. Germain, a friend of the show, the other day.
Sopranos
and
freak.
Sopranos freak. And we talked about how Michael Imperioli, he's so good because a lot of those guys in The Sopranos, that is them.
And-
so James Gandolfini and Michael Imperioli are good because they're actually acting a lot. Because that's not them. That Michael guy, he's just like a straight up actor. But he's so known for those mob movies, people just think that's him,
Totally.
I think.
Christopher.
Like, so he was Spider, and then he was Christopher
Yep, he was
in
the Spider.
Sopranos. So, I think people are like, yeah, he's just like Paulie Walnut. It's like, no, he's like a legit actor.
He just happens to look like a Ginzaloon.
Yeah, right.
He was cursed with the...
a Ginzaloon.
But if we could, it all came back. He was a movie freak, just like us. He was a movie lover.
Who?
Christopher.
Oh, in the character?
The character, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty funny because he wants to be like the writer.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's funny. When with him and Timothy, what's his name from Wings? I think we talked about that once already. Where he gets to the point where he he beats the crap out of them. He owes him money, doesn't he? Owe money, gambling debt, whatever it is. And then he was like, he gets so distraught over the money he owes Christopher in Sopranos, he starts drinking and doing drugs. He goes, "You should have called me. I'm your sponsor." And he's the reason for it.
Right.
That show is
It's so funny.
so brilliant. Every week was like a fucking
His
movie.
intervention is one of the funniest serious scenes ever, too. You know, she when
when he kills the dog.
do you know Paulie Walt? Do you remember his line? She goes, when you sat on co-set, he goes, "You killed that dog," and Paulie Walt goes, "What was it, barking?"
Well,
That was the reason to kill the dog. It was barking.
Well, I told you the tidbit that I realized when I watched that scene. That Gandolfini, now you have to have seen the whole show, so if you haven't, turn it off right now and come back to us, or fast forward. Gandolfini, in that scene, that's when he freaks out. He has a thing with animals. I've said this on the show before already. So when he says, he goes, "You suffocated that dog? I should suffocate you." And that's how Gandolfini kills Christopher Montesanto.
Oh,
he
wow.
suffocates him. I've told you that, haven't I?
I don't think you have.
Oh, maybe I haven't. I don't know how I realized it, but that has to be on purpose.
What was it, barking?
What was it, barking? What was it, barking? That's so perfect for that character.
Great. It's so great.
The writing on that show is brilliant.
And then the one thing I watched this week was The Dirt. The Motley Crue
Oh, God,
scripted biopic.
I started it today.
Yeah?
And
All right, then maybe we'll save it.
I don't know if I can get through it. Should I watch it
It's
and then we'll
so
talk about it next week?
debaucherous. And I love Motley Crue. So I sat
Wait,
through.
were you like a fan when you were younger?
Yeah, had like
Oh.
the posters.
You were like
and,
a metalhead type guy.
yeah.
Or you like
tried
Motley
to
Crue.
be. I mean,
Not like
I
a-
was,
You
10,
were like
11.
Sepultura.
As metal as an 11-year-old could get.
yeah.
But I had
okay,
all the
okay.
tapes. I loved Motley Crue. Like I loved Motley Crue, Skid Row. I mean, that was just I loved that rock and roll. That
Yeah.
just happened to be what I came up with.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
still, but I mean, they were good. And
Well,
I mean,
they were good. Yeah, they were like heavy metal pop music.
a little more talented. I think they got away with more than what they like to show in the movie. Because
Really?
it was known that like Nikki Sixx was like, I'm a good-looking guy. I'm gonna be a rock and roll star, and that's why he played the bass because that was like the easiest one to learn.
Oh,
And like
really?
Tommy Lee was like a decent drummer, became a great drummer, but like that's why Mick Mars was like light years ahead of any of them because
He
they
was a real
needed somebody
musician.
like yeah.
Oh, and then Vince
And
Neil.
Vince Neil was a good singer, so
Yeah. And they talk about that in the movie?
They don't. They gloss. It's a very, very pro Motley Crue. I mean, it comes across. It's based on
It's
the
like-
book On the Dirt, which is why I know this because the Dirt I read I read it front to back.
It's like Gotti, but
It's
for Motley
so
Crue.
great,
Where
yeah.
it's like written by Gotti's son. This
But
is written
it's
by,
one of those that's just terribly great. You know what I mean?
It's so bad it's good.
It's so, but like
But it almost that was the intention almost. Like they weren't trying to make like a
Nikki
actual...
Sixx, he was like critics hate it, Motley Crue fans love it.
Okay,
so-
okay, yeah.
I enjoyed it. It's bad. It's not really good, but it's got that enjoyment factor where you're like, this is just kind of fun.
'Cause a lot of
And I
it-
mean, there's sex and tits and drugs and everything.
Well, I saw
In almost
some-
every 30 seconds.
opening scene. One of them was insane.
Insane.
So I'm like almost to the point where I'm like, I don't even want to repeat it because it's so graphic. That
Right.
I'm like, that's like right out of the bat. Like,
Out of
as
the
far as
fucking
like
box.
backstage hijinks go, it's like really crazy.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's worth checking out if you're a Motley Crue fan?
I
So
think
there's a lot of
so.
inside baseball info that
It's
you
just
didn't
a hilarious, bad, cheesy kind of movie. So if you can not take it too seriously, then you'll have a fun time with it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, buddy boy. I don't think I watched any. I've been watching a lot of TV lately, so I don't think I caught any
Yeah,
any
same
movies
here.
this past week.
You know what's
I'm watching that Adnan Syed documentary.
Oh, I can't get into
to
that.
revisits the whole series. Did you listen to Serial? Or
I
no?
didn't.
Okay, that's why I'm
Yeah.
listening to. That's why I'm watching it. It has one more episode left. It's only 4 episodes.
TV show I just picked up. That's I don't know how it got past my radar, and apparently only had 2 seasons. The Mick with holy
Oh,
shit, it's
somebody
funny.
just told me how great that is.
I
Jason
love it.
Tanner did. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes, I heard how good
I'm
it
only
is.
like halfway through the first season, and I know I only have one more, and I'm already like,
Do you know who? What else is good? And I didn't know, but I heard it was. And I just never thought the New Girl. With
Oh
what's her
yeah, I
name?
watched it
Dash
enough
Nell,
to see
whatever her
it.
name
It
is.
was all right.
I thought it was way
It's got a
funnier
good.
than I-
It's got a good ensemble.
Yes, they're good hanging out with each other.
She's easy on the eyes too for me.
She sure is, Andy, my pal.
All right, to recap the March Movie Madness, we had we'll go into the Final Four because this is where we stopped. I have Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I believe, to your Ferris Bueller on the top there.
On the top, to my planes train. Oh, wait,
And-
Final Four? Yeah.
I thought you had Ferris.
I had Ferris. I'm sorry, I did
Ferris
have
and
Ferris.
Fast Times, and we
I
both had Die
Ferris.
Hard on the bottom.
Oh, you mean as far as Final Four? I'm sorry.
Final Four.
I'm thinking the Final Four of the last bout.
So there's where we left off.
Ferris to my Die Hard.
We both had Die Hard, but except I had Fast Times at Ridgemont High to your Ferris.
Yes.
So, shall we stop in the
So now we're going to
the top
start
right?
the Eastern Conference, my friend.
Big baller right off the top. Extraterrestrial, E.T.
Also, this is like not even a contest.
It's not even close versus Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who would turn around and really go never ending story. Actually, some people were hardcore into that movie.
Yeah, I'm not even hardcore into E.T., but it's just...
I'm not either. And right, but I still was like, oh, E.T.
I think it's
100%.
one of Spielberg's worst, to be honest.
Yeah, but it kind of put him on the map.
Yeah.
That's really when he became like super famous. I think because of the undertaking of the shots involved
Right.
and how
Okay.
ambitious a movie it was. Well, Jaws did that, but E.T. was like, wow, he just is like he took the resources they had and made something that looked really kind of cool, you know.
Now, if you remember, we notified you of the egregious error that they left off last week, which was Stand By Me did not make this list.
Yes.
And to refresh everybody's memory, we are doing movies strictly from the 80s. Here's a few. I go, oh, why couldn't you throw in Stand By in here for one. So this is Little Mermaid versus Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
Which
Stand By Me could have been either spot.
either one.
Yeah.
Muppets for me.
Muppets for me.
Which is actually a fun, good movie. Again, you could have thrown for these next two, Roger Rabbit versus Dark Crystal, which I may have seen Dark Crystal once when I was a kid.
Dark Crystal, I just remember it's Jim Henson. I remember being really freaky. I think I might have saw it once, and it used to freak me out. I wasn't that into it. Roger Rabbit was a big part of my childhood.
Same here, huge.
Roger Rabbit would freak me out, too. The part where the judge puts the shoe in the vat.
Of course.
When you're like, I guess that was probably, that came out, 89? So I was 11 watching that. And
maybe a little younger.
There's a couple of different moments in that, like that it freaks you out in that, in that movie.
Absolutely.
That's
Christopher Lloyd's very scary.
Yes, he is. Remember me, Eddie?
Yeah.
That time I killed your brother. That's his voice.
But how many times did you do please? I mean,
well, it's so funny because Roger Rabbit, this is his first. Now Roger Rabbit, after this movie came out, Roger Rabbit was just a character. Like he did other stuff after this. But in this,
he had a good career for himself.
He had a good career for himself. But in this is where he first appears. But then everybody loved him so much from this, he ended up in other things.
And endorsements.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a nice lady.
Oh yeah.
So I think we're all agreed
Roger
upon
Rabbit
so far.
versus Dark Crystal. I was Roger Rabbit.
Rabbit as well. Big one right here.
This is a big one, and literally and figuratively. Goonies versus Big. I thought about this one. Took me about 5 minutes to sit there and really sit there and go, what did I do? What did you pick?
Goonies.
You did. Yeah. I did Big.
And
I think because I used to watch Big more, I saw Big more recently. And remembering and it's a really well made movie. And I have more of an emotional connection to Big, I think. But Goonies, but I also
I might have a little more of an emotional tie to Goonies.
It's a toss up. It really is a toss up.
Very tough pick. Goonies just edged it out for me in the end.
Yeah.
As you'll see, Goonies, not to foreshadow, but
Goonies is a killer for you, huh?
I'm gonna get murdered on this one.
Princess Bride?
Princess Bride versus Pretty in Pink.
I don't think so. What do you think I picked? You picked Pretty in Pink? Now, here's the thing, man.
I can hear Alex fucking cringing in the other room. I
Princess
picked
Bride
Pretty in Pink.
Blows away Pretty in Pink.
I don't think so. I don't think it's as good as everybody thinks. I just think it's what they remember as some of their favorite childhood memories.
You
can have an upset. That's what this tournament's all about.
Pretty in Pink is iconic, because it also Pretty in Pink made me feel cooler for liking it when I was a kid, because I feel like it was the movies that my sister was into, and all the cool new wave music that I wanted to be down with. Yeah,
Long Duck Dong,
Psychedelic Furs. Yeah, no, that's 16 Candles.
Oh, that's 16 Candles, right?
So maybe you think of a different movie.
Well, we get to 16 Candles next. But
Princess Bride.
Yeah, I know Princess Bride. I know.
That's Rob Reiner. Oh, the other one's John Hughes.
That one's just me being, just going, no, I don't like Princess Bride.
You really don't like Princess Bride?
I'm very contrarian on Princess Bride.
Really?
I really don't. It really annoys me. I really hate it.
For what reason? I think it's hilarious.
It's not very funny to me. I just don't like the format of it either. I think it's because it's so beloved that makes me kind of go the opposite way too.
I think it makes. I'm not a big fantasy
I know
guy.
I get killed on that one. I'm such in the minority on that one.
No, it's fine. It's your opinion. I'm not a big fantasy guy, and I think it makes one of these fantasy movies easier to watch, where they're making it tongue in cheek.
Yeah, I guess so. But for stuff like that, Mel Brooks does that so well, and this is such a. It's just. But
they're not trying to rip off Mel Brooks with this.
I know,
Mel Brooks
but
is more slapsticky.
It's Rob Reiner, right?
Rob Reiner. They're just
but it's the same way this is what Rob Reiner does. Rob Reiner does the same thing. It's he just kind of does what other directors do better. Like when Harry Met Sally, it's always it's the poor man's Annie Hall. Have you ever heard that? It's this is the same way in the way Mel Brooks does Blazing Saddles, or he does even Robin Hood Men in Tights, which is it's so he does these things. Yeah, it's kind of that's
what Mel Brooks is doing is spoofs. What Rob Reiner is supposed to be doing his own original takes on things.
Exactly. So it's just I've never thought he was that good of a movie maker, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think he always makes these winners of movies. Like when Harry Met Sally is a good movie. It's a funny movie.
Well, we're going to get to all these.
80s. Think about how many When Harry Met Sally ripoffs there were that couldn't recreate the magic of When Harry Met Sally.
I'm going to back my words up here because we'll get to When Harry Met Sally.
I'm sure we will.
Breakfast Club versus 16 Candles, much easier for me.
Hold on. Breakfast Club, what did you do?
Versus 16 Candles? I went with The Club, baby.
See, I went 16 Candles.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I enjoy 16 Candles more than, I think it's more fun to watch.
Interesting.
Breakfast Club,
Breakfast Club.
love. But Breakfast Club, I think, 16 Candles, I think would be fun for when it was the age that I was when I first saw it, was fun for me to watch. Breakfast Club was for people that were like 3 years old
Yeah.
than me. There was a teenage, there was more of an angsty thing going
get
on
that.
there. And that, it was supposed to be like half drama, half comedy. 16 Candles is full-on drama. I mean, full-on comedy.
I just thought of another one they egregiously left off.
What?
Which I'll tell you. Did you see Weird Science on this list at all?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Which
No.
I would have made such a better choice for a lot of these.
But
Because
no,
that's
I
kinda-
would. Well, how about this? 16 Candles versus Weird Science.
Weird Science.
16 Candles.
Nah,
For
all
me,
right. Well,
yeah.
you know.
Weird Science is great. That was on the other day too. They have one of these new channels, like not Freeform, but it's one of these that they just must buy the properties cheap and just air the shit out of these
Yeah.
old movies. But I was loving it. I was like, this is great, like Paramount or something like that. You know.
Now, speaking of When Harry Met... All right, so we got a little similarities and then a few upsets on the way.
Yeah.
Now, When Harry Met... This is a tough one. I think that I'm be interested to see where you go. This is now When Harry Met Sally versus Say Anything.
Yeah, another one that people love. Say Anything people love. And I love John Cusack.
Yeah.
I went Harry Met Sally.
I went
think
Say Anything.
overall, did you really?
Yeah.
I think when Harry Met Sally overall is a better movie.
Say Anything is one of my all-time favorite kid movies of when I was growing
Kid
up.
movies?
Not kid for me,
Oh.
when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it came out wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
See,
when I was
wouldn't
growing
have-
up, I
wouldn't
mean,
have
just
pegged you
so
for
many
that.
favorite lines that I would say. It was just Lloyd Dobler. All right. Things like that.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you right now. If Better Off Dead was on this
I was going
list,
to say Worst Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead's not on it. It would probably beat a couple of these for me. Better Off Dead. Well, so Say Anything. But when you saw it, you must have been real young when you saw Say Anything.
I mean, this was all when I was just coming into my passion for movies. You start to be 10 years old. You find them all on Channel 11 in the afternoons on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And you start watching these teenager movies, and you're like, I just worship these people.
Yeah.
'Cause they seem so cool. They can drive, and they can.
Say Anything. Is it John Hughes?
I
don't think it is,
I don't
right?
think it is.
Yeah.
Who does Say Anything? I'm very sorry.
I did when Harry Met Sally. Well, we have a
Okay.
lot of different ones on this.
All right, well, we'll see how it shakes out in the end.
Here we go. These ones make a lot of sense to put back to back. The next one.
Say Anything is Cameron Crowe.
Cameron Crowe, that's right, of course.
Right. You know
Totally.
what? Wow. Okay. And I like Cameron Crowe.
Thanks, Alex. Dirty Dancing.
I like Cameron Crowe. He's the guy who did We Bought a Zoo, right? He's the guy who's famous for We Bought a Zoo, I think, right? You know that classic We Bought a Zoo?
He'll come up again, Cameron Crowe. You mark my words. Dirty Dancing versus Footloose.
What did you do?
Footloose.
Whoa! Dude, we are on different planes, me and Andy.
Here's my reasoning. To me, Dirty Dancing and Footloose are the same movies. One's a boy's version and one's a girl's version. And I think the boy's version of the dancing movies is Footloose with Kevin Bacon.
So you have to be a boy. Get in touch with it. Gender is fluid, okay, Andy?
not in the 80s.
I'll tell you, that might be the case. This might be a result of me liking this better because I have two sisters and they loved it. My sister had the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I remember watching this a lot. I've seen this movie a lot.
Yeah, see,
and when it's on
I-
TV, I watch it. Also, when you're a kid in the 80s, it's your first encounter with abortions.
right.
For some reason,
Yeah, that, Cocktail
there's an
kinda-
abortion in it. Yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a
Cocktail
Cocktail on
has
here
it
either.
too. Cocktail's not on either. It should be on here. Cocktail wouldn't have made it that far for me, but
Not that far, but
yeah.
that soundtrack would have made it further than the picture. That was one of my very first tapes of all time.
Yeah,
That
Hippie
Kokomo.
Hippie Shake.
Kokomo was why I bought it.
Hippie Shake. Dirty Dancing did it for me. I think it was a better movie overall, and I've just seen it more. I've
Yeah.
just seen it way more. But you know what was great? Footloose, when The State was on MTV. You remember that they had the sketch where making fun of Footloose, but it was with origami, where he was teaching them how to do. Pretty funny. Okay,
Wow.
the next one's a biggie for me, buddy.
The first three were in a row, and then we haven't had one since.
What?
Dude, huge.
This is a turning point for me.
Back to the Future versus Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
You went. I know you went this. We went the same on this. Must have.
The Future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the Future.
Harder than I thought, though. I love Pee-wee's.
Not for me.
I love
Pee-wee's.
It's such a great film. It's a really good film. I use that word on purpose. Film.
It's Tim Burton. It's early
Tim
Tim Burton.
It's written by Phil Hartman and Pee-wee. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't know that. It's very well acted.
It's super dark. It's way
super
darker.
dark.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's wonderfully performed. There's a lot of great character actors in there.
Back to the Future is the definitive movie of me from my ages 5 to 11.
Now, because it's going to get crazy, I get a feeling you put Back to the Future very far. But this is where it's going to get crazy. Well, not maybe this one. Up next, Gremlins versus Labyrinth. Layup for the kid. I'm moving Gremlins on in that.
Yeah, I'm
matchup.
Gremlins as well.
Labyrinth-
I think that was. I think it was a girl. I think it was a girl's movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
And I think girls were really into David Bowie and how androgynous he was.
Yeah.
Like 12-year-old girls were.
Introduced us to a young Jennifer Connelly, though.
Yeah, I saw it one. Like, I never got into it. And also, it's fantasy.
You're
and I'm
right,
not a
because my
fantasy.
older sister brought it home from the
Yep.
video store one day.
Yep, my sister. I think she had a Labyrinth shirt or
And
something.
as we know, Gremlins is a great Christmas movie.
Yes, we talked about that. Yes, and you like Gremlins.
I love
a lot.
Gremlins.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine movie. It's better than Labyrinth. I like it better than Labyrinth.
Here's where we get some big ballers in these next matchups. Batman versus Beetlejuice.
This was a big
Another
too.
Tim Burton
This
film.
is a hard one. This is a
Three
really
Tim-
hard one.
2 Tim Burton films back facing off against each other.
I think I'll probably surprise you on this one. What did you do?
Batman.
I did Beetlejuice.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you had Batman going
Also,
deep into the
they're
tourney.
both Michael Keaton.
They're both Michael Keaton, both Tim Burton. I thought you had Batman going finals.
No, that original Batman, it was a big deal to me, but I think in the long run, if you would have asked me this at the time, it would have been Batman. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was a kid or even a little bit older in my teen years.
Oh, you're going to be very upset at me then.
All right, well, because and also, you know what affects it for me? And even though we've kind of flip-flopped, like last week we were saying how it's an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
The subsequent Batmans have kind of like changed my opinion of that Batman, just like we did those 2 Batman a couple weeks ago.
Beetlejuice 2 and 3 don't really hold up.
They were gonna do. I think they were gonna do it. They were gonna do a sequel.
Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice. Oh, whoa! Good. That was good. Right off the dome.
Every now and then. Easy one for me on the next matchup. You want to take it?
Empire Strikes Back versus Blade Runner.
I've never been a big Blade Runner. Like
Me neither.
I think that's Ridley Scott, right? Or
I saw it once.
No. Yeah.
It was also, to be honest, I think it was beyond a kids movie. I think it was like it was
I just
more,
don't get it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very like symbolic. It was very, very dark.
Yeah.
I think if you're a kid, like if you're a kid watching Star Wars, you can get bored. But it's like boring Star Wars
Yeah.
to you. You know,
Weird
So-
matchup in the next. We both took Empire.
We both took Empire on
Dead
that.
Poet Society versus Purple Rain. I don't even know. Like, what's Purple Rain doing in here? We just mentioned 4 other movies.
Yeah, it's a shitty movie. It's not
Right.
even that great of a movie. It's because of Prince. That's
yeah.
why they're doing it. First off,
I guess that's more soundtrack driven.
I have a thing with Prince. I liked some Prince songs, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm this diehard. I was never this diehard Prince fan, and I know he's iconic
love
and he's a
Prince's
legend,
music.
and he was known as like one of the best guitar. I think he was like an amazing guitar player. Apparently,
I don't know any diehard Prince. Everybody
Oh,
loves
no.
Prince. I don't know any
People pretend.
diehard. Exactly.
People pretend they're.
I'll
a
give
bigger,
him this. I did get to see him once at the Garden, like 2005, and it was a mind-blowing show. So I can
All
see,
right, so
but
that's where it
everybody
comes
we
from.
know
Yeah.
loves Prince, but no one's diehard. No one's got like fucking Prince B-sides from England.
Right, exactly. This was easy. I just went Dead Poets Society,
Dead
and I
Poets
wasn't even that
Society.
big of a Dead. That was also like
neither.
My sister loved Dead Poets Society. My older sister.
Next up, Field of Dreams versus Rain Man.
This was easy for me.
Easy for me too.
Which was you?
Field of Dreams.
Yeah, same here.
And
Especially with a dead dad. When if you have
Oh,
a dead
Jesus.
dad, and Field of Dreams, it goes up. Its stock rises. The deader your dad is.
tough one. 2 Oliver Stone movies.
Yeah, I just go. One of them I just don't even care that much about. I think it's kind of overhyped. It's Wall Street versus Platoon. What did you do?
I took Wall Street.
And so did I.
Yeah.
It's a better movie.
It's a better movie.
And also Platoon.
Platoon is the last of all those Vietnam War movies
Yes,
for me.
that's-
And it's
that's
just
right.
kind of trying too hard. And it's Oliver Stoney, who,
Yep.
as we know, I don't love.
We all don't.
But I like Wall Street. I like Wall Street.
Me too. That's the one thing that he's done that I like.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing that he's done. Is Wall
I would
Street.
probably agree.
Because it's pretty straightforward, and it's like what he should be doing, not doing historical historical dramas.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to do that with that. It was supposed to be a commentary on the whole
Right.
the stock market rise and the yuppies and all that, but it just ended up becoming like a good '80s movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Go ahead.
And where are we now?
Bottom of the heap. Terms of Endearment versus Fatal Attraction.
Another two that I have no interest in when I was a kid.
I pushed Fatal.
Fatal. I
Attraction,
did Fatal
too.
as well. Yeah. Terms of Endearment was one of those things that like I saw it as a kid. I know it was really sad, but I don't think I've seen it since. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, that was a very '80s thing to like.
That was
Brian's song.
But
Terms
it was
of
such an
Endearment.
adult movie.
Yeah, it was very adult.
And
very
so it was
adult.
just like, I
And
don't even think
you-
I was allowed to watch it because
But
it had like too much gravitas to it. It had like cancer and it
Yes.
had, just like.
That's what I mean. That was a big deal back in the '80s. It'd be like every adult movie, if you had somebody dying of cancer in it, it became this
Yeah.
world-renowned thing.
Now, I'll be remiss if I don't mention how maybe the most 80s movie, The Big Chill, is not on here.
Yeah, the Big Chill's not on it, but the Big Chill, it would be Fatal for me.
It
Fatal.
would be somewhere in there. Yeah,
The
but
Big Chill is one of the ones I saw, and also
Which
another
is also
adult
not
one.
good, but yeah.
it's fine. You know what it is? It's people's my parents' age.
like that would be up against When Harry Met Sally, maybe.
It was an at the time movie for them because my mom at the
Yeah.
time probably loved The Big Chill, but if she watched it now, she'd probably be like, "Oh yeah," like it spoke to people in the '80s of what was going on and like that time of their life and all that. And it had a dead body in it. It was played by
Yeah.
Kevin Costner. The dead body was Kevin Costner. All right, let's go down.
We got to get a move on.
We gotta
E.T.
move.
versus Muppets. I pushed E.T. through.
Oh, I did Muppets.
Muppets Take Manhattan. It is a
Yep.
good movie, but I'm
I
surprised.
love the Muppets and E.T. Like I said, E.T. I don't go crazy for.
All right.
Roger versus Big.
I put.
But mine was Roger versus Big.
Mine was Roger versus Goonies.
I did Big.
I did Goonies.
Okay. So now I have Muppets versus Big. You have
E.T.
E.T. versus Goonies.
Wow, we couldn't be any more opposite.
I know. It's crazy. I had Princess Bride versus 16 Candles.
I have Pretty in Pink versus Breakfast Club, with Breakfast Club going through.
Okay. See, I would have Pretty in Pink going through on that one.
Interesting.
But if I was you, I have Princess Bride going through. And then I had When Harry Met Sally versus Dirty Dancing.
I had the quite opposite. I had Say Anything versus Footloose, with Say Anything championing that matchup.
Well, you know what's funny? I went emotional on this, and Dirty Dancing won that one because I've seen it.
Wow.
I've seen it insane amount of times more than I've
Okay.
seen When Harry Met Sally.
Back to the Future versus Gremlins.
Come on, this is no contest for me. Back to the Future.
I also Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That's a better movie.
But that might have been a harder choice for you because you like
I
Gremlins.
thought about it, but I went with my senses and put Back to the Future through.
Beetlejuice. I have Beetlejuice versus Empire Strikes Back.
Batman versus Empire Strikes Back, and I pushed Batman through.
I push Beetle through.
Interesting.
Yeah, Empire is not one of my. I like Return of the Jedi. I'm one of those people that everybody hates that I like Return of the Jedi better.
I like
That's my
Return of the
favorite.
Jedi too.
Yeah.
But I do like Empire. I like them all.
Let's see.
Dead Poets Society versus Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Field went right through.
Field
for
of
that one.
Dreams breezes to the Sweet 16.
Yes.
And Wall Street versus Fatal Attraction.
Wall Street just
Wall Street
won
as
it,
well. Do you want to start down there? Wall Street versus Field of Dreams?
I went Field.
I went Field as well.
Yeah.
And Field
It's a better movie, I
Yeah,
think.
it's a better movie.
It's just you want to talk about emotion. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Even besides
I mean,
the like.
That
And it's also who did the directing? Was it?
I don't know.
But it's a well-made
Yeah,
movie.
Moonlight Graham, of course. Beetlejuice / Batman versus Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
I know you had to put Back to the Future. I put Batman through over Future, which I know
Wait,
is a
what?
big controversial.
Do you have a specific reason for it?
I went emotional. I just love that
Batman's
Batman
more emotional for you than
Back to the Future.
Really?
Back to the Future drags at points for me.
the original?
Yeah.
No. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Okay.
know.
All right, you know what it is? I think you were. I was the same age when Batman
I
came out
loved
for
Batman.
you.
I loved it. I
Where
was
are you?
10. It was 89. I was
What?
10. I was 89.
What? No, it was 85.
89.
Was,
No, Batman.
Oh, Batman. Oh, Batman.
Yeah,
okay,
80.
okay. I was 11. Okay.
I love Back to the Future too, but I pushed Batman.
Wow.
Through. You're gonna be mad at me.
I have Princess Bride versus Dirty Dancing. I put Princess through.
I have.
I think it's a better movie.
I have Breakfast Club versus Say Anything with Say Anything going through.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would have put Breakfast through on that
Interesting.
one. Muppets versus Big for me.
I have Goonies versus E.T. with Goonies going through.
I have Big going through.
Okay. And now
Want to go down the other way?
Yeah, we'll go down. You have Big / Goonies versus.
I have Big versus Princess Bride.
Oh, come on.
Princess Bride I put through.
Get the fuck out of here. Over Big?
Yeah, I don't know. I really.
Wow. See, people love this goddamn movie.
Princess Bride. It's really great.
I have Goonies versus Say
Also,
Anything.
you know what else did it for me? It was peak wrestling time for me, and Andre the Giant's in it.
Okay,
There's an emotional factor there of the Benzine.
I'm a big Peter Falk fan.
I'm a big Columbo guy. As an 11-year-old, I used to love Columbo. I was an 11-year-old grandparent.
It did have Kevin Arnold in it.
It did have, yeah, that's another thing. I loved Wonder Years. It was all, it was like very familiar. So I have Big versus Princess. I have Princess down. What do you
I have Goonies versus Say Anything with Goonies going through. Goonies is the quintessential 80s movie to me.
You're not wrong. You're not
Yeah.
wrong. And then the bottom part, I have Back to the Future versus Field of Dreams.
I'm going to guess you're pushing Future through.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have Batman versus Field of Dreams.
And you put what?
Batman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing.
So the final four, I have in the East, Goonies versus Batman. In the West, Fast Times at Ridgemont High versus Die Hard. That's Die Hard, Fast Times, Goonies, and Batman. 4 crazy movies.
Yeah, absolutely. I have Princess Bride, Back to the Future, Die Hard, and Ferris Bueller's.
I mean, not a real dud in the bunch of stuff.
Yeah. So for my first matchup, you want to go from last week first?
Sure.
Okay. So we had Ferris versus Die Hard. What do you think I did? It was kind of an upset for me. That was a hard one. It's really hard.
I think you're going to go Ferris.
I went Ferris.
Yeah.
Ferris has more of emotion.
All right, now you can guess for me. Fast Times at Ridgemont High versus Die Hard.
You went Die Hard.
No, I did not.
You went Fast Times?
Of course I did. You don't know me at all.
You love this. I was going to say that, but I figured Die Hard because it's Die Hard.
No.
Holy cow.
Dude, I argued Vengeance over Die Hard. You should have known me on that.
That's true. I didn't think of that. Oh, my God. You love Fast Times.
I love Fast Times.
All right.
We'll guess for each other's on these this other bracket too. So I have Goonies versus Batman.
For that's the other side?
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess for you?
Yeah.
Oh, you went Goonies.
Correct.
Okay. So you have Goonies versus
Fast Times in my final 80s
All right,
bracket
I'll guess
challenge.
it in a second. I had Princess Bride versus Back to the Future.
Man, with so much love for Bride, but I'm going to go Future.
Yeah, Future.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So that means my final two, the championship game, Back to the Future versus Ferris.
Oh, my God, dude. What a matchup.
See what I'm saying, dude?
I think you went Ferris.
That's what you think?
I
And
think
what is
your
yours? What is
champion,
yours?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High versus Goonies.
Well, before you just said you thought Goonies was the quintessential 80s movie, but Fast Time, I can't believe how much you championed that movie throughout this whole entire thing.
I'll stick with your gut.
I'm going to say Fast Time.
Fast Time. Ding, ding, ding. There was a buzzer. There's 3 at the fucking... Fast Times at Ridgemont High is my winner of the 1980s March Madness bracket. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
You love it that much.
I love it of all time. I quote it all the time. I love the characters in it. I love how I know it's supposed to be a little older, but it's a great teen movie. It's dark, it's funny, it's well acted, it deals with abortion, it deals with teenage jobs, it deals with teenage sexuality. It's got everything. It's just like making out with a girl for the first time, losing your virginity. It's just such a great teen movie. And they don't hold back like a movie would. Like, you can't make a movie like that today. It wouldn't be as explicit.
No,
it wouldn't be
you're
as
right.
it wouldn't deal with those. You'd be hurting too many people's feelings.
Yes.
It covers everything. I love it so much. It deals with even sports and race. It's great.
You made a great case.
Yeah. It's my favorite movie out of this group.
My championship matchup, Back to the Future versus Ferris.
I'm looking in your soul right now. And I think you went with Ferris.
Back to the Future. And I'll tell you why. One thing I haven't mentioned. Anything to do with time travel, I love. So time travel, I love. Back to the Future was like probably one of the first movies I saw in the theaters. If I really, one of the first ones I remember seeing in the theaters. I think I probably already liked Michael J. Fox from Family Ties.
Yeah.
The cast was awesome. Also,
Great.
I love any movie where like there's an underdog that gets revenge, stuff like that. So like it basically like it gave me hope as a kid, that movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a deep like, you know,
Can I just
it
say,
reminds me. It's the most nostalgic movie for me, where it reminds me of being a kid.
Oh, always, totally. And I know it's not my era, but Ferris was Fast Time's always on. It just always seemed to be on. It was just like. My buddy had the tape too. It was just like what we watched. Like I've seen it ad nauseum.
See, Ferris was like that for me. Yeah, Ferris is like that, but it edges it out. Like it was a hard matchup.
May I add this? I think Goonies had, sorry, your champion. Back to the Future had a little easier path to the Final Four.
You think so?
I think that had the easiest bracket.
Yeah. Well, at one point we had it versus Beetlejuice. That's no contest for me. And then another time,
Batman was really
Beetle versus
the only...
Field of Dreams. I mean, Back to the Future versus Field of Dreams. I'm going to go with Back to the Future.
I went Back to the Future versus Batman. I went back and forth on that one all day. I think I just wrote Batman in the end just to be done with it in my head.
Yeah.
Because that's a tough one for me too. But I love Batman. I love that Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah, but this one, I love every minute of Back to the Future. I love like I love the whole idea of it. I love the storyline. Like the second one, where like they go back and revisit the first movie. I love that, even though it's not the greatest movie in the world.
Yeah,
because them going back and revisiting the first movie, I'm like, yes. To the point where when the third one was a Western, I was like, fuck this. But now, as I'm older, I like it better. It's more fun. It's fun to watch. But like the third one kind of stinks. But the second one kind of stinks too. But anything involved in that world, like the whole idea of them coming out with a fourth one, or like them redoing it, like hurts my heart. Like if that becomes the new normal of a new Back to the Future universe with a new Marty McFly and a new Doc Brown, or Marty McFly becomes the Doc Brown, however they would do it. It hurts my soul if they would do that, because that's such a it's a rock of Gibraltar. It's just there the whole time. Like it just stay put. What are you doing?
In our remaining 5 minutes before we have to leave, the movies that were left off, which I think some of these are going to... You want to do a losers bracket Final Four between Better Off Dead, Weird Science, Big Chill, and Stand By Me?
Sure. Better Off Dead versus what?
So let's... I would say, and that's a tough one, I would probably... The way this website kind of bracketed, they kind of genred them. I would say Weird Science versus Better Off Dead.
Weird. I'll tell you right now.
Teen movies.
I'll tell you right now. And right now, as me now, and I know I keep going back and forth on this. Better Off Dead.
Really?
Yeah.
I would go Weird Science.
I think it was a cooler movie. I felt cooler watching it.
But that's the whole thing of Weird Science. They're lame guys becoming cool.
I know, but I think also I think it was darker. I liked the humor better.
In Better Off Dead or Weird
Better Off Dead?
I was just going to say the same thing for Weird Science.
Oh, really?
When they have like the not animatronic, but like the kind of space bikers.
Yeah, that was weird,
like,
but
if we could just keep this between us, I don't want to lose my teaching job. It gets really...
yeah, right, exactly. So when they were apologizing as they're leaving, they're walking the motorcycles out of the thing. Yeah, that is a weird movie. It's also crazy. They have them go to like that black nightclub.
It's hilarious. It's so funny.
But I would still do Better Off Dead.
Okay, so BOD for you. And Big Chill versus Stand By Me, I think, is the right matchup.
Oh, that's no contest for me.
No contest for me either, Stand By Me.
So then we have Stand By Me versus Better Off Dead. I know. That's an easy win for me.
Stand By Me?
Yep.
I think Stand By Me also wins for Weird Science. How did they leave Stand By Me off this list?
Because
that would have gone far for me.
It would have gone far for me too. It would have gotten to...
I mean, talk about...
It might have gotten my Final Four. It would have gotten my Final Four.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was a huge movie that was on all the time that you really identified with because you were a kid in that age.
Freaked you out a little bit.
You got
worried when Kiefer and those guys were like trying to beat them up, and then the dead body part and the puking scene.
Even that, you're like, I know that's not really real, but it's just it had that kid mythology where it's perfect, and you identify with it because little kids are able to take stories like that and make them larger than they actually are.
Was it nominated for an Oscar?
I don't know.
If it was today, it might have won Best Picture.
Absolutely.
It kind of reminds me of like a super what they call it, super what's the one that came out that J.J. Abrams
Super 8?
Super 8.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that.
I get it. Yeah, a little bit.
The little kids going on adventure.
Yeah, it's kind of it's very much what Stranger Things is for this.
Absolutely. That's where they're pulling all this stuff
Yeah.
from. They're pulling from 50 different movies, and they did it perfectly. That's coming out. That's a new trailer, too.
Yeah.
And it looks good. They're
does look
working
good.
the aging of the kids into the story. It's
They have
fucking
to.
smart.
I know.
So smart, man.
All of a sudden, you're gonna have 11's gonna be a bombshell. These
Yeah.
other 4 mutants are gonna look like the fucking things from the underside.
Lou, you still want to hang out? Lou, what are you doing? She's like, I'm washing my hair. He's like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have no hair, Lou.
That's Stranger Things 4. She's just busy all the time.
Finding 11.
You said he was just a friend.
All right, let's wrap this up. That was good. That was fun,
Great.
man.
It's great fun.
We should do another one at some point. Maybe we can find a certain genre. We can do a whole setup or just a certain year.
We'll do it in a few months.
What would you like to plug there, Andrew?
Tomorrow night I will be in.
Oh, that's another one they didn't have on there, and I would have gotten maybe far. Overboard.
Oh yeah,
Overboard's unbelievable.
I mean,
There's
I
a
guess
lot.
you can only
They
cap
have
it so much.
many.
But,
Yeah.
Saturday, tomorrow night, tomorrow night. I don't know. I lost my date in my head. I will be at Laugh It Up in Poughkeepsie, New York, for 2 shows, 7:30 and 9:30. Please come out and say hi to me. And if you want to talk movies, I will happily do that. You can follow all my social media stuff at Andy Fiori, ANDYFIORI. And I just added a bunch of tour dates throughout the summer. So check andyfiori.com out, and maybe you can make a show locally.
Awesome. And this weekend, I will be at the New York Comedy Club in the city and Comedy Cellar. And also the weekend after, I will be in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Go Bananas. I'll mention it again, but I'll be doing a weekend there. So if you're in that area, come on out and mention the podcast to me, and we'll have a drink, and we'll talk about how Andy was wrong a lot about this March Madness thing. And you're Andy Fiori.
Yeah, I went over it all.
Oh, you did it. So I didn't hear you. Sorry. I was looking for my dates. I am at Shawnee Time on the same stuff. We're at Showbiz Studios. That's showbizstudios.com. You can look up their YouTube page. Also, they have an iTunes page that has all the amazing Showbiz Studios podcasts run by a lot of people who are our friends. I think we almost know everybody on the lineup that are absolutely hilarious. So check those out, and we will see you next time. And we love you, and that's about it. Thank you so much for that.